Alright, enough of all this Satanism and death metal. Yes, my philosophy is rooted in what I learned from the death metal movement, for the death metal philosophy, that you have to face up to death to realize what life is all about. That's the foundation. But that's enough. I'm not really going to discuss that too much. I'm going to get into more important things that are important to all of us, to you, to me, to everyone on earth. And here's one of the biggest and most important things I realized, again, when I was very young, before I got into death metal. It struck me, something really struck me big. One of my favorite lines from ancient Greeks was, "Know thyself." In ancient Greece, especially at Delphi, there was a big sign when you entered that said, "Know thyself." Know who you are. Know what makes you tick, what makes you be the individual that you are. And it really impressed me. And another thing that really impressed me about the ancient philosophers was their debate over will. The will to get things done, of willpower, of self-determination, of free will. Not free willing. Free will! And that's really left an impression on me. It really impressed me about the concept of free will, and we all discuss it these days, especially America is the country that is full of freedom, that is determined by free will, and it's one of the biggest issues in modern times, one of the biggest non-religious religions of our modern life. Well, I am here to shock you. I am here to blow your mind, even more than with my first video, even more with the essence of life being death. And here's the shock. You will die, but you don't have free will. You do not have free will. You don't have free will. You didn't hear me? Let me repeat it. You don't have free will. You don't. It's a lie. It's another mistruth. It's another thing that you've been deceived all your life. You've been told all your life, oh yeah, do what you will, do what you want, because you got free will. You can do anything in this life as long as you put your mind to it, because you have free will. You don't have free will. You don't. And I will prove it to you. But I can't prove it to you in one video. So I will make a lot of videos on this subject because it is actually quite a complex issue dealing with a lot of different things. But I'm going to lay down the basics. You don't have free will, and it's simple, absolutely simple why you don't. Because most of the things you do in life are not determined by your own absolute decision. They are impulse decisions. They are emotional impulse reactions to causation. There's cause and effect. Something causes something. Something causes an effect and you react to that cause. In effect, acting out a behavior which you think is of your free will. But it's not. When you get angry at whoever, let's say somebody calls you a bad name you don't like, and you get all upset, you've just lost your free will. Because now that person can control you by simply using names. So, we can take this to the extreme. I could call you a nigger if you're black. I could call you a dirty Jew if you're Jewish. I could call you a stupid Satanist if you're Christian. I could call you a dirty raghead if you're Muslim. And guess what? You're going to get angry at me. You're going to freak out and you're going to want to kill me. Now, is killing someone a rational thing to do? It never is. But people do it all the time because they've lost all their sense of self-determination. They've lost their ability to control themselves. What is free will? Think about it. What is free will? Free will is the self-discipline to always behave in accordance to all the rules that regulate reality. And some of the rules that regulate reality is, if you kill, you create enemies, and they will kill you back. Life is once you kill, you've reached an absolute dead end that we cannot recover from. So when you kill, you've destroyed. And when you destroy, you give others reason to destroy you. That's an absolute universal law. Yet people do it all the time. Why? Because they don't have free will. They don't have the self-discipline to control themselves from acting impulsively and doing something really stupid. And there you go. The next point, stupidity. What is stupidity? Most people do stupid things all the time. That's because they don't have an absolute self-control over their impulses and they don't think things through completely. So they do really blatantly obvious stupid things because they lack the self-discipline, the self-determination. And it's almost always impeded by your emotion. And that's the core of it, where I will get into this core of it. I'll get into it later in more depth. But the fact of the matter is that we don't have free will. Our concept of free will is more of an attainment. It's kind of like saying humans have the ability to run at 23 miles an hour. But you can't. I can't. Only Usain Bolt can do that. Why? Because he has pushed himself to his maximum limit. He has trained and trained and trained and perfected his ability to run at his highest speed. Well, we have the potential for free will. We have the ability to get to that point where we do have free will, but we're not there yet. And I honestly can't think of anyone, myself included, that actually has free will. We only have tidbits of willful behavior in life. But most of our behavior is action-reaction. Most of our behavior is, in fact, reaction to action. Things happen around us, they make us angry, they make us excited, they give us desire, they give us repulsion, so we just react to those stimuli. Something makes me angry, I react by getting angry, by reacting with fear or with hate, or something makes me desire, something gives me the feeling of desire, so I really want it, I'm compelled to get it. I mean, just look at the world. Some people want to drive in really weird cars with weird names because they're name brands. So they're completely controlled by this desire to fit into some social concept. That's not free will. How can you say you have free will when you're not comfortable unless you're dressed with a certain designer's clothes, when you drive a certain manufacturer's car? That's not free will. That's enslavement to an idea, to a concept. You are completely terrified of stepping out into the world without makeup or without a certain outfit or without a certain group of friends. I mean, how many of you leave your house alone, go to the movies alone, do things alone? No, you're terrified of being seen as being alone. That's not free will. Free will means being able to do all these things without being held back. But also, free will means being able to do things without destroying the world around you. I mean, look how many things people do that cause harm to themselves and to their own family and to their friends. That's not free will. How can you say you have free will when you go out into the world and you destroy entire countries? Look at what's happening around the world right now. You've got people in power who do just insane things that ruin their country, ruin their families, and ruin their relatives, and ruin everything for everyone. That's not free will. That's just fear. And this is why not being afraid, this is why confronting that the ultimate cause of our fear is death. What drives our fear is our fear of death, because ultimately everything we're afraid of comes from that ancient instinct that it'll kill us. So what really drives us is not free will. What really drives us is not our will. Our will is really a desire. It's really a concept that the ancient Greeks literally discovered. Before the Greeks, the concept of personal will or free will didn't even exist. And then the Greeks hit on this idea that, wait, through geometry, we can control rocks and build amazing temples that boggle the mind. So through mathematics, we can control the world. Then how do we control ourselves? Oh, we control ourselves through our will, to our willfulness to get things done. But what is interfering with our will? Why can't we do some things that we know we should? How many times in life you know what you're supposed to do, but you just don't do it? Because you're being held back by something. You're being held back by this very ancient primitive fear that has morphed today into many emotions. It started out as one emotion, fear. Today it's a myriad of emotions with different names that we have for it. But all these things impede your ability to have free will. So yes, this is only the beginning. I'll get into more details. But the fact is, the other truth that you did not know, that you don't want to believe, that you're going to look at me and say, look at that lunatic with his crazy voice, he doesn't know what he's talking about. Well, you will find out that you don't have free will. But what we do have is the potential for free will. And what we do have is the ability to get as closest to free will as possible. We may never attain true free will, true self-determination, true self-control to the point of where no outside forces can influence us in ways we don't want to be. Maybe that's not even possible. But the closer we get to that ability, the more free will we do have. So free will is not a reality, it's not something that you have. It is a attainment. It is something that you strive for. Just like being a gold medalist in the Olympics. It's not something you wake up in the morning and say, oh, today I'm going to go get a gold in the Olympics. Absolutely not. It is something you train for. It is something you dedicate for, and you invest years and years and years of practice and dedication, and then you become good, and then one day you can make it happen. Well, free will is exactly that. And this is why, if you're lazy, you'll never get it. And this is why life is so important, to be determined, to be focused, and to work for it without allowing emotions to make it go nuts. And that's going to be a lot of the stuff I'm going to get into in the future, about how our emotions, as much as we love them, we love feeling good, we love even getting angry, we love hating people, in the end, all these emotions really mess us up and prevent us from attaining free will.